YouTube? This is the Big Fish Network, home for Miami Dolphin fans worldwide. I'm your host, Dave Wade, back on your monitor, back in your speaker once again with another video. I know I've been on a mini hiatus. I had the site under construction. I want to thank y'all for being patient with me. I know I missed the draft, but I'm back to talk about it on this video and the upcoming season and all the news that I've been hearing, all of the stuff I've been reading about the team. In this video, I'm going to give y'all my opinion about our draft picks, talk about the undrafted free agent camp battles, and my predictions for the 53-man roster. Y'all make sure and click that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you can hear it first. Now, let's dive in, starting with the post-draft. Like I told y'all in my previous videos, I thought that our team needs was running back. It was wide receiver before we got Tyreek Hill. Center, because I felt like we needed to have somebody that can push Michael Dieter or possibly even, be the backup center for us. We need some depth at that position. Right tackle, defensive tackle, middle linebacker, because I feel like Elandon Roberts, he's not going to be with us for too long. Cornerback, we might just trade Byron Jones, and even though we signed Xavier Howard, you never know. We got Noah Benogany, but I felt like we could use a corner that can be, someone waiting in the wings that Patrick Surtain and Sam Madison can groom to possibly be starters just in case somebody get hurt or just in case we trade one of those corners that we have. Now, we only have 4 picks in this draft because we traded our picks to the Kansas City Chiefs for Tyreek Hill, our first and second round picks. Had we not made that trade, I would have wanted Chris Greer to target Crimson Tide wide receiver Jameson Williams in the first or the second round. I think he would have been a perfect complement to Waddle, but he ended up getting drafted by the Detroit Lions in the first round. They was able to get him and Aiden Hutchinson. I think they made some real good power moves in this draft. We'll see how they improve. I also wanted us to target running back Breece Hall, who the Jets picked in the second round. I had him on my draft board. Also wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson out of Kentucky. He got drafted by the Giants in the second round. He's going to make their offense look spectacular. John Mechie III, who also played at Alabama, too, is familiar with him. I thought he would have been a good compliment to Waddle. He ended up being drafted by the Texans in the second round. And then what surprised me was Tyquan Thornton, who I actually had on my board maybe in the 4th or 5th round. I had other receivers that I thought was better than him. He ended up getting picked by the Patriots in the second round. For our offense, I think Tyquan Thornton would have been a great fit for us. We actually brought him in for a visit. And in the West Coast offense, when you're looking for a tall receiver, you're not looking for a receiver like Preston Williams, who's 6'6", 6'5". That's too tall. You're looking for a tall receiver in the West Coast offense is 6'3", 6'2". You don't want them no taller than that. You want them, if they're going to be that tall, 6'3", that'll be more like a T.O. type of receiver, maybe like the receiver at with the Seahawks, DK Metcalf, somebody like that, or 6'2", that'll fit that Jerry Rice mold. Obviously, there's no receiver that's going to be Jerry Rice, but look at his body type. That's what you're looking for, and maybe some of his skill set is what you're looking for in a West Coast wide receiver who's going to fit that alpha wide receiver role. This wide receiver is going to be flanked out far left or far right, and you're going to have him motion to the slot, and you basically can motion him on any play to cause that deception for the defense, even on running plays, because you don't want them to know when we're going to release him out and actually run a play to that receiver on drag routes, on post routes. That's what you're looking for. I'm surprised that the Patriots drafted him in the second round. I thought that was high because I think Tristan Ebner, who also played for Baylor, is also a receiver that could have been drafted before him, but you look at what the Patriots are doing. They're also thinking with that West Coast mentality, but in their version of it. I'm surprised that they drafted him, and they got Devontae Parker from us. We got to watch what they're doing now. We also got to be worried about the Jets getting Breece Hall. Running back James Cook is also going to be a problem that we're going to have to deal with him being drafted by the Bills. You know that, I mean, you look at Dalvin Cook, you see what Cookie's doing with Minnesota, you seen what Cookie's did with Florida State. James Cook can do the same thing, they related. We got to be careful with him with the Bills. We got to make sure we shooting the gap, setting the edge, stopping that run. The Bills been killing us with misdirection plays and delays and counters and boots from Josh Allen, quarterback design run plays. The Bills, they made some moves this draft and they just got better, man. The rich got richer with Buffalo. Second round, third round players that I think we could have traded up for is center Luke Fortner, who the Jaguars got in the third round. Wide receiver David Bell, the Browns picked up in the third round. I had him on my board for that alpha, tall, West Coast wide receiver type. Then linebacker Nakobe Dean got picked by the Eagles, and that shit just broke my heart because I had Nakobe Dean as the pick for the third round for us. Even though we drafted his running mate, linebacker Channing Tindall, who also played with him with the Bulldogs, I thought Nakobe Dean was the better pick. I mean, you just watch his tape. Nakobe Dean is just explosive, man. He's explosive, and he reminds me. I think he has the potential to be that Ray Lewis, or just feel that Dolphins stud general middle linebacker that we've been having over the years. That prototypical Dolphins big fish baller linebacker that we need. I felt like Nakobe Dean can fill that role. Defensive tackle, I felt was another need. I would put that third on my list as far as needs. Even though we got Christian Wilkins, our defense is great. We still got Josh Boyer calling the defense. I still felt like DeMarvin Leal would have been a great pick for us, or Perion Winfrey. DeMarvin Leal is better out of the two. He got picked in the third round by the Steelers. Again, that's in the AFC. We got to worry about that, man. But we ended up drafting Georgia Bulldogs linebacker Channing Tindall, which, salute to you. Glad you're on the team. Hope you become a big fish baller on this team and fit in well with our current linebacker core of Van Ginkel, Jerome Baker, Landon Roberts. You should be taking the Landon Roberts spot and show that in camp and preseason. And we got Jalen Phillips, who we drafted last year, another linebacker. We also want to use you on blitz pressure. So Channing Tindall, welcome to the Fins. Welcome to the team. And I hope that you do what you do, my G. 6'2", 230 pounds, ran a 4.47 at the combine, got 42-inch vertical, 129 broad jump. So we can use him in the middle, man. We can use him in coverage. He has the athletic ability. Only thing about Channing, he was a 4-star recruit, but couldn't break through the Bulldogs depth chart and start in his 3 seasons with the team. Now, obviously, that's because they got Roquan Smith, they got Nakobe Dean. You know what I'm saying? They was just better linebackers. They was just better linebackers. He has the ability. And, they just had good depth. I mean, I think of the Hurricanes when we had Edgerrin James, but we also had Willis McGahee. We also had Frank Gore. We also had other running backs, red shirt, other running backs that's waiting in the wings that got probably, you could say, Clinton Portis might have had more talent, than Edgerrin James, and that's arguable. You could say Frank Gore had more talent than all of them. So sometimes these colleges be loaded, man. These programs be loaded. Alabama, they always loaded. So they always think about it. Devontae Smith is a stud wide receiver. We saw that from last year that he's developing into that already. His first year in the NFL. Jalen Waddle breaking records already. And then now they got Jamison Williams in the draft, John Mitchell III, who could basically do the same thing. They loaded. So, Channing just got lost in the crowd. But 2018, he had 17 tackles, 3 for loss with 2 sacks in 14 games. didn't really do much. 2019, 9 tackles, 1.5 sacks. And then 2020, 15 tackles, 4 for loss with 3 sacks in 10 games. You know, he also didn't start in 2020, but the scouts love what they saw in 2021. He made his presence felt by ranking 3rd on the national championship squad with 67 tackles, 7.5 for loss, with 5.5 sacks and 15 appearances. Well, you know what that tells me? If we can get that production from him, and if he can use his speed to chase down Josh Allen, because really that's what we need. We need somebody who can chase down Josh Allen. Elandon Roberts is too slow. He's a great blitzing linebacker. I like what I saw last year. I felt like he's definitely a middle, but he's not gonna be. And he had a nice pick 6, you know, in coverage last year that I liked. But he's not gonna have that range and that speed like Channing Tindall, you know, running that 40 how he did, you know, to impress the scouts and the teams. And hopefully he can use that to go side to side and get to the intruder, spear the intruder, get him to the ground, get some TFLs, you know, and really be that middle linebacker that we need to not only be the quarterback of that defense and police that defense, but spy and stop these running quarterbacks from hurting us like Lamar Jackson. I'm glad we beat the Ravens finally last year. We got to continue to do that because you got Malik Willis, you got all these quarterbacks. Now we got Russell Wilson in our conference. You got to have a middle linebacker that can chase down and be a spy. We'll see if Coach Anthony Campanile can maximize his upside. We also drafted Texas Tech wide receiver Eric Ezukanama in the 4th round. This was a Wes Welker pick to me. Wes Welker also played for the Red Raiders. You look at Eric, his tape, it looks really, really good for his size, and I can see how we're going to utilize him. Same way that Mike was able to draw up and design schematic, you know, schemes and plays for Deebo Samuels. I think Eric can do some of the same things. He has some touches as pretty much a hybrid type running back. Basically, Eric was able to do with the Raiders what we wanted Albert Wilson to do for us, which it looked like he was going to be able to do when he had that season with us. High-fiving Jakeem Grant. Thought Jakeem Grant was going to be able to be a player that we can utilize as not just a receiver who can take the top off the defense, but also we can use as a running back hybrid. I think that Eric will be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? And in the West Coast offense, I prefer my tall alpha wide receivers to be no taller than 6'3", 6'2". 6'3" is tall. And if I'm gonna get a 6'3" receiver in the West Coast offense, I want him to be built like T.O. So DK Metcalf, like, he'd be perfect in the offense that I would want to run, along with Jalen Waddle and Tyrell. Hell yeah. And I would actually trade him. I know it sounds crazy to the fans. I would trade a 1st round pick for DK Metcalf, and add him, put him in the slot with Hill and Waddle, and have Cedric and Eric. We can utilize them in a different way. But we ain't gonna do that. 6'2" is good enough. He can play that Rice role, you know, and like I said, T.O. or Rice is the clone that you're looking for that motion wide receiver in this West Coast scheme. You can do so much with them. If you look at a lot of the touchdowns, a lot of catches that Rice and T.O. caught, it was them motioning from the boundary into the slot. And the reason why the running game was able to work with Ricky Waters and Garrison Hurst is because they're motion Rice on a running play. And you got to respect the fact that he's in motion, and now that he's in motion in the slot, he can break on any left or right. You got to worry about that. So now them toss plays to the running back on the other side, you know, them you know, play action fakes that you can use, throwing posts to the boundary receiver on this side. It's so much you can do. But I think that Eric, his tape looks good. He was able to get yards after catch with the Red Raiders. I think that Wes Welker will be able to help his technique even get more refined, because Wes was a great route runner. He'll be able to make sure that he's able to fit into this scheme. And, you know, I didn't have him in my mock draft. I didn't really see his tape, honestly, until the draft. You know, I was looking more for Tyquan Thornton, who got drafted by the Pats in the second round. I was looking at Romeo Doubs, who I felt like can fit that Rice role. Who else? I was also looking at, we could have got Khalil Shakir. Khalil Shakir would have been perfect at this spot. I still think we should have got Khalil Shakir over Eric, because Khalil Shakir got 1,000 yards in the slot for the Blue Broncos in Boise State on that blue carpet. I feel like he'd be perfect in this scheme as well. But he got picked up by the Bills again. The Bills. James Cook. Then they got Khalil Shakir to go along with Stephon Diggs. Our slot corners got to be Igbenogany and goddamn, you know, this cornerback that we got, you know, from you know, in the undrafted free agent list. They got us. We need our slot corners to step up, because it's gonna be a problem with Josh Allen. I'm telling y'all, we gotta play them twice. We gotta deal with them in our division. We gotta find a way to beat the Bills this year. Mike McDaniel, find a way to beat the Bills. That's what I need you to do. At this point in the draft, I actually had us drafting tight end Isaiah Likely out of Coastal Carolina, who got drafted by the Ravens. I think he's going to be a problem for teams. 6'4", 245 pounds. I think he would have been a great complement to Mike Gesicki. We could have lined him up in the single back ace formations with Waddle and Hill on the outside. Not only would teams have to worry about Gesicki motioning to the slot and becoming a mismatch for linebackers because of his hands, route running, and speed, they would also have to account for Likely, and Likely would have the same problems with him out of that ace. I want to see us insert Swiss Army knife John Lovett, who Mike McDaniel decided to add to the team. I want us to add him in these ace sets, but also another vertical tight end. I do like Durham Smythe, who put up, you know, for a blocking tight end, he did put up some impressive numbers, I think, last year. Gossi did a good job of utilizing our tight ends and getting them in the end zone and getting them on some real good routes with Tua under center and even with Brissett. But Durham Smythe ain't gonna scare nobody. He's not gonna scare nobody. We need to add another Gesicki type threat in the near future, so we got to keep that in mind. But back to Eric, 6'2", 209 pounds, similar to Cedric, like I said, from the Cowboys. They can and will pose the same problems. They can both play that Nat Moore type role. You know what I'm saying? Think of Nat Moore. Everybody think about Mark Dupe and Mark Clayton. You got to remember, man, Marino was killing teams in between the, you know, on the train tracks. He was killing teams in the middle. He was killing teams throwing to the fullback, throwing to Keith Byers, throwing to Tony Page, throwing to Jim Jensen, throwing to Brady. He's throwing to everybody. Everybody was a threat. So I want to see us use John Lovett in the ace formations as well. Use Eric in the slot. Use Eric and Cedric. Sometimes have Hill and Waddle in the slot with Cedric and Eric on the boundary as well. Take advantage of that. Shula did a lot of that. Shula used all kind of different mismatches on teams in different formations. Split back formations, 3 wide receiver set, killing teams with that. You look at his tape and it's impressive. He signed, like I said, Texas Tech normally has a high-flying type offense, spread offense. You know, he earned Max Preps Junior All-American status in 2017 with 20 receiving touchdowns at Timber Creek High School in Fort Worth. Redshirted in 2018, only played 2 games for the Red Raiders. Then he led the Red Raiders with 664 receiving yards, 47 recs, 15.8 yards per catch. Then he had first team All Big 12 honors, led the team, had the most yards since Michael Crabtree in 2008. So I see some promise from him. We could have also got Dameon Pierce at this spot, the running back out of Florida. I thought that would have been a good addition. We could have added him instead of getting Sony Mitchell, who I'm going to talk about. We did sign running back Sony Mitchell from the Rams, who got a championship ring, went to 2 Super Bowls, Patriots and the Rams. I think it was a good addition, but again, and he could play that power running back role, even though he was about 216. I wish he was 220, 225, maybe 230. Maybe we could bulk him up, or he could stay at the size that he's at, but he could play that power running back role. Otherwise, I think if we don't use him as a power running back to go along with Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert, it'll be like a log jam at running back again. And we got to get rid of 2 of these running backs. 2 of these running backs, Ahmed and Gaskin, either go to the practice squad or we need to cut them, since we add running backs that are kind of similar, unless Sony Mitchell could play that power running back role. I felt like we could have added running back Tyler Algier from BYU, who the Falcons added in the 5th round. We could have added him in the 4th round instead of Eric Ezukama, and we could have got Khalil Shakir later, maybe in the 7th round instead of Cameron Good, who I'm going to talk about. But we added Eric, and I'm happy with the pick. 7th round, we had 2 picks. We didn't have any picks in the 5th or the 6th round. But with our 7th round picks, we added 3-4 outside linebacker Cameron Good, who played for Cal, and he got good size, strength. He didn't really excite the evaluators and the scouts, but he has the ability to convert effort into disruption. Hard to ignore on tape. You like what you see as far as his athletic ability. Can he translate that to the next level? We'll see. He'll have to prove that in camp. He's going to be competing with Sam McGovern. He's going to be competing with Brennan Scarlett. Can he beat them out? I think he can. We'll see in camp. I didn't think linebacker was a need here. If we was going to select one, I would have picked Penn State linebacker Jesse Lukita, who was also getting looks from CFL teams. I felt like he would have been a better option. You know, Cardinals ended up picking him in the 7th round. We used our last pick. We had 2 7th round picks, like I said. We used our second one to select Kansas State quarterback Skylar Thompson. He's 6'2", 217 pounds, so he's damn near the same build as Tua and Deshaun Watson. In the West Coast offense, 6'1" and 6'2" is considered big in the West Coast. You hear Colin Cowherd always saying Tua's too small. Deshaun Watson's only an inch taller. He was clamoring for us to get Deshaun. Skylar's damn near the same build. That's big in the West Coast offense. Joe Montana, Steve Young, they were about that size. All the quarterbacks who've been good in this offense are around that size. So, and shorter quarterback, Kyler Murray would thrive in this offense. So, you just got to be accurate and mobile. You know, Skyler, I'm not sure if he's really accurate. I got to see more of his tape. His tape, he does show some flashes on tape, but shows the ability to work through his progressions, reads coverage on combo routes with good timing, resets his feet on the move to deliver from his platform. So you like that. Arm talent to make rollout and scramble throws with success. So it reminds you of, Tannehill was good with that. Tannehill didn't have the great pocket presence, in the middle of the pocket. He wasn't able to step up like Marino, but rolling out, scrambling on boots. That's why having a power running back like Derrick Henry works well for Tannehill, because you can take advantage of his rollout ability and his accuracy, getting out of the pocket. So Skyler kind of has some of that ability. Some of the weaknesses that you don't like is that average passing production over his 40 starts, the low average accuracy on drive throws, and sometimes he overstrides and sails some of his balls on his deep throws. Doesn't really have good ball placement with putting the ball on the receiver in stride, forces the receivers to break stride, to work for it. That's Tannehill-ish, again, something that you don't want to see. So if he can improve on that in camp and show some promise in preseason, maybe he can stay on the team. Maybe he can beat out Chris Streveler. He's not going to beat out Teddy Bridgewater at this point. So we'll see. His senior season was derailed by an upper body injury in 2020, limiting him to just 3 starts. Another thing that scouts probably knocked him for was his age. He'll be a 25-year-old rookie. So I just feel like, man, there was other players I would have selected with this pick. We could have used another backup. We could have used one, considering Teddy Bridgewater's on a 1-year contract. But if we're going to select a quarterback, why not get to his brother Talia Tagovailoa? I felt like plays similar but has more quickness and speed scrambling out of the pocket. Or we could have added Louisiana Raging Cajun quarterback Levi Lewis, who's also a southpaw boxer like Tua. That would have gave us another lefty who could run the same offense. We wouldn't have had to switch nothing up. He could actually beat out, he got picked up by Seattle, the Seahawks. I think he could beat out Drew Lock and Geno Smith for the job if you look at his tape. I hope he gets a chance. I hope he gets a chance to. I hope he can beat them out, because I think his tape is underrated. They called him a left-handed Kyler Murray with the Cajuns. He's a dual threat quarterback, and I think he'll fit well in the West Coast offense. Just based on his accuracy, even what I saw pre-draft, like he just looked more polished and decisive in his throws. All right, let's look at the new team and predict what the 53-man roster might look like before preseason, now that the draft is over with and we've added these undrafted free agents. Now, there's some players on this list that I actually think has a real shot of making this team. Chris Greer, I think he has a good track record, in my opinion, of finding hidden gems and squeezing the juice. Let's see if the new regime can create a farm system. We have a new vision led by head coach Mike McDaniel. I know a lot of the fans, including myself, are still disappointed by how Flores was fired and how the franchise has pretty much been in decline since Don Shula, and we've been searching for the next Marino since Marino retired. You know what I'm saying? And we went through way too many quarterbacks since then. We drafted Tua. Instead of most of the fan base getting behind him, it's pretty much split. You got half of the fan base that believes he's a franchise quarterback. I'm in that group. And then you got the other half that believe we missed out on our franchise quarterback by not drafting Justin Herbert. Why do they believe this? Because they listen to the media hype. Yes, he can throw the ball 70 yards, but playing quarterback is not just about arm strength and height. You know what I'm saying? They listen to all of the media news outlets. Just because the man got a similar appearance as Marino and he got hair coming out the back of the helmet, they just automatically assume that we missed out on our great quarterback. But I believe that Tua mechanically, with his arm strength, with being able to throw from different platforms, different arm angles, his quick release and accuracy, I believe, can be on the level or similar to Marino or similar to quarterbacks who got a quick release and have the accuracy like that. Because that's what's the most important thing when it comes to this West Coast offense, is accuracy and timing. Don't listen to all of these, it's a shame that some of these, former football players who are analyzing the team and breaking things down on ESPN and some of these other networks, I'm surprised by some of their responses, because I'm like, man, y'all played the game. Y'all know that it's more than just arm strength. It's about accuracy and timing. And you heard in the media, the media got a chance to speak with the coaches. You heard Frank Smith and Darrell Bevell talk about that. Accuracy, accuracy, accuracy. See, when you throw in the deep pass in the West Coast offense, you don't necessarily have to throw it 70 yards. You could throw it 30 yards on time with the right 3-step and 5-step drop, and it'll look like a 70-yard bomb based on ball placement and putting it right where it needs to be on the field, on the gridiron, so that the wide receiver can run underneath the ball and make a play. That's what I mean. And if you look at Kansas City, you look at Patrick Mahomes, there was plenty of times where Patrick underthrew the ball, to Tyreek Hill. There's plenty of times where he underthrew the ball. And I know that, they got a lot of these people saying that Tua got a weak arm, and they showed the hype video and they showed the pass where he underthrew Tyreek Hill. What did Tyreek do? He showed you another video where Tua was out there throwing lasers, throwing dots, to our receivers on post patterns and deep patterns down the field. So you can't just let one hype video, one little bad video where he underthrew him. Patrick Mahomes underthrew him plenty of times, and he still was able to make plays. It's about finding the right receiver in zone coverage, in man coverage, finding them on time, and putting it where it needs to be on the field. So I ain't worried about that. We finna ball this year. A lot of y'all know it. A lot of them know it. They scared of it. We finna make this shit happen. That's what I'm talking about. But Frank Smith, like I said, he got a chance to speak with the media. Here's some of the things that he said in his interview.
During this offseason workout program, I guess as an offensive coordinator, what is like your overarching goal for this period, and what would you do as a successful offseason workout period?
Sure, great question. I think like for us, especially this time of year, as we're not prepping for an opponent, you're really prepping to play the position and maximize your skill set. And for many ways, like guys just learning the way we see it, playing their position inside of the system. So I think a lot of times people rush into the playbook because you feel that desire to get that down, as opposed to you learn the fundamentals that will transcend all the way to the Super Bowl. Your final goal is February. You got to build the foundation now to lay the to build the skyscraper you're looking to build on top of it. So that was an analogy that always made sense to me. It's like, you want to build a tall, strong building, you got to start with a strong foundation. That's what we're trying to do now.
They also met with quarterback coach and passing game coordinator Darrell Bevell. They asked him about what he's seen from Tua so far in camp. Here's what he had to say.
What would you say is the most important trait for a quarterback to have in this offense that you're trying to install?
I think really a sense of timing and accuracy would be the first two things that I would say, and Tua's got really a great feel for both of those, and that's where I'd say it starts.
What have you learned about him so far since starting?
Oh, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot, but really like the person, the personality. The longer we're here, the more you kind of get to see the real guy. When you first meet somebody, it's you're not quite sure what it is. So the more time we spend together, just really like him as a guy, his preparation, how important it is to him, those kind of things. And then what I see on the field is a guy that really is a tireless worker at it. It's important to him. Got a good rapport with the guys, and this guy's going to be the limit for what we're going to be able to do.
Do you see leadership qualities from him? Do you see it actively when he's working with?
I do. And each guy really has kind of a different, set of leadership skills. I mean, we've talked about it, and no one guy is going to be the same. But yes, Tua definitely has it. And I mean, obviously, the number one thing is when you go play well. That helps you lead. But he's doing all those other things. He's working on his game. He's working on his team. And he's doing all those things to help him be a great leader.
Now, when we looking at our quarterback room, we got assistant quarterback coach Chandler Henley. We got offensive assistants Mike Person and Kobe Smith, and quarterback control coach John Grizzly. I want them to pretty much go through Drew Brees, go through Russell Wilson film, use all of that to try to build and make this quarterback the best quarterback we can make him in this type of offense. I feel like we need to see better play calling. They say Mike McDaniel was an offensive guru, even though he has never called plays in San Francisco. Judging by the moves we made this offseason, as far as getting the type of receivers that we've added and the addition of the fullbacks on this roster, and watching 49ers tape over the last few seasons, it looked like you know what he's doing. So I'm happy with what I've seen so far. And like I said, we should be able to take the top off of the defense. Just like Tua said, we gonna yak the hell out of teams this year, and we should be able to make a lot of these secondaries topless at the end of the game. And best believe that we should be able to be scoring at least 28 points a game with this offense. Quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, he's going to be the backup, just like they said when they talked to the media. I think Teddy Bridgewater is just that. He's a bridge. He's a bridge over troubled water. When you're not sure about your quarterback, you want to have a quarterback that's going to be able to win you games just in case your quarterback get hurt. Teddy Bridgewater is the guy. I had belief in him as the starter, but I felt like he took too long to pick the right team that he wanted to be with and stick with that team. Should have came to the Fins when we had Devontae Parker. Now that we traded Devontae Parker, I just don't feel like he should be the starter. I'm hoping that Skylar Thompson can beat him out, and I'm hoping that, like I said, Levi Lewis can, if he don't beat out Drew Lock and Geno Smith at Seattle, maybe they'll sleep on him too and he get cut, and we can add him to this roster and have another left-hander in camp running this offense with Tua, or add his brother. I think Chris Strubler should stay on this roster because we can use him in different Wildcat formations. I think he can be a Swiss Army knife. And when we're looking at the running backs, we brought back Eric Stousville, who's going to be the associate head coach, running back coach, and we added Sony Michel, who played for the Rams and the Patriots, won a Super Bowl with the Rams last year. I think he can play that power running back role in this running back rotation. At least that's how I hope we use him. Otherwise, if we use him the same way we using Gaskin and Ahmed in single back formation, it'll be a waste to me. You know, I feel like we'll have too many running backs with the same role. I want us to create a three-headed running back monster, which I'm going to talk about, with Sony Michel as the power running back, Chase Edmonds as the versatile running back who we can use in the passing game. That means Chase Edmonds should be getting over 500 yards receiving, over 500 yards rushing this season. That's what I want to see. It to me, that'll be a successful season out of Chase. Raheem Mostert is going to play that shifty speed running back role at his weight. He's going to be the light, you know what I'm saying, Money Mayweather type running back to hit that home run, hit that knockout punch to gash the defense. And I want to see Zaquandre White make this team. He's an undrafted free agent who we added to this team from the South Carolina Gamecocks. Even though we signed Sony Michel, like I said, who played in 2 Super Bowls, most recently winning one, I think the Zaquandre actually has a shot of not just winning the job as the power back, at least getting in the rotation. I mean, you look at his tape, there's a lot to like about his South Carolina film. Ran with authority and power. I wish he was 225, 230 as well, but he needs to show that same explosiveness in camp and the preseason, and I think he has some upside. We'll see how he competes with the power running back, Jared Doaks, who we also added last year. I think Doaks showed some flashes last preseason, so we'll see. We also got fullback Allen Ingold in this room, so he's going to be the primary fullback who we should use in split back formation sets. That's what I want to see us running more of. We did not run that under Flores, which I did not like. We did not run that under Philbin enough. We did not run that under Gase enough, hardly at all. We ran a lot of single back under Gase. You know what I'm saying? We need to get back to running single back formations with a fullback who knows how to be a punishing fullback and open holes for the running back. You gotta have that. That's key in the West Coast offense. And you want your fullback to be a threat as a runner and a receiver out of the backfield. Marino made great utilization out of passing to the fullback a lot under Don Shula. You look at our wide receivers. I want us to have a Miami Grand Prix F1 Formula racing team on the field. Just like how we built that track around the stadium, I want us to have a track on the field. And I want Wes Welker, our offensive assistant, Aldrick Robinson, I want both of them to get our wide receiver unit running these West Coast patterns to perfection. We already know Tyreek Hill know what he's doing in it because he did it with the Kansas City Chiefs under Andy Reid. So we just going to use him the same way. Jalen Waddle, who broke a record last year, is going to be able to do the same thing. 2 burners, 2 F1 Formula racers on the field. Then you got Cedric Wilson, Eric Nzukama as the 2 big receivers who can either play the right or the TO role on the boundary, motioning in the slot, or playing on the boundary and going deep. They both can be used on wide receiver reverses, wide receiver fake reverses, passes down the field. Man, I can't wait. Then you got Lynn Bowden Jr., who can be used in a wildcat, can also be a threat in the slot. Trent Sherfield got speed to go deep down the field. He could be that kickoff returner that Shula used back in the days, who he inserted in the game plan depending on who he played. And then our undrafted free agent that we added to the roster was Braylon Sanders out of Ole Miss. 6 foot, 195 pounds, ran a 4.43 in the 40, 34.5 inch vert. He'll be in camp competing with Cody Core and River Craycraft. I think he got potential, but you didn't see a lot of explosive plays on tape. I would have liked to see us get running back Letty Brown or wide receiver Bo Melton instead, who I think could have helped as a kick returner. I think Braylon Sanders is going to have to make his money trying to be a kick returner on this team. I don't think he could beat out none of the other receivers that we got. I think Preston Williams, like I said, should be cut. Cody Core, River Craycraft, Devontae Dedman, I don't think they're going to make this roster. But they're going to compete in camp, so we'll see. We'll see. You never know. You never really know. You can't count none of these receivers out. Looking at the tight ends, assistant head coach, tight end coach John Embry is going to be coaching tight end Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki, I think, is going to be an elite player again this year. And then the undrafted free agent that we added to this room, who was actually a big receiver that Idaho State was able to use and get a lot of production out of. We're going to use him as a tight end. He's listed at 6'2", 230 pounds, as measured from the Shrine Bowl. Damn near the same measurables as Traylon Burks, who I thought if we could have got him in the first round, if we still had our first round pick, either Jamison Williams or him, I think Traylon Burks can play that TO role. Tanner Connor, man, I hope you can beat out Preston Williams in camp and beat out these other receivers and even beat out some of these tight ends and try to make this roster, because the man got a lot of potential. I mean, the Bengals standout had 3 very good seasons, capped by a 2021 that saw him catch 42 passes for 735 yards and 4 touchdowns. For just 42 passes, those are great stats. In his 4 active seasons, he averaged nearly 18 yards per rec. The deep threat profile isn't too surprising when you realize he was Big Sky 2021 track and field champion. So he got a track background as well. Sleeper, Tanner Connor might be a sleeper acquisition on this team. I hope he make this squad. And if we can use him as a tight end, again, man, sky's the limit. And he made some noise down at the Shrine Bowl where he flashed the play strength, ability to get out press coverage, and the speed to get back on his line to separate vertically down the field. He attended the Washington Pro Day where he stood out in a major way, ran an unofficial 4.3, 740 and jumped 39.5 inches. Come on, man. Chris Greer, man, you might be on to something. But he may be able to beat out Seaton Carter, Hunter Long, and Adam Shaheen, I think, should be cut. He's just bad luck. Y'all done heard me say that. He's bad luck. Let's look at the O-line. I think the starters on the O-line is going to be Liam Eichenberg at left tackle, left guard Austin Jackson, center Michael Dieter, right guard Robert Hunt, and then T. Stead going to play right tackle. They might have him at left tackle, and they may swap him and have Liam at right, but I think T. Stead is going to play right tackle. You look at the backups, we added offensive guard Connor Williams from the Dallas Cowboys. We still got Larnell Coleman, who I think Chris is trying to see if he can squeeze the juice on him. And then the undrafted free agents that we added to the line is right tackle Kellen Deesh out of Arizona State, 6'7", 301 pounds, 32.25-inch arms, ran a 4.89 at the combine. So, I mean, he can play right tackle, athletic ability off the charts for his position. I think he got a real shot of competing for that starting or backup right tackle spot. He just got to grind hard in camp. We got to see. The things that you like about Deesh, low cut with room for more mass through his upper body. So if he get in the weight room and he can keep the same speed that he got, he could be great in zone blocking in the run game. He got good efficient movement in his pass sets. Punch comes from an inside track with strong latching hands. So good fluidity, pulling, which I like. Athletic linemen that can pull. That's important in the run game. If you watch Shula tape in the past with any of our running plays, you've seen a lot of the guards and the right tackles and the centers pulling in the run game. I did not see a lot of pulling with our old linemen under Flores, which I thought was a problem in our run game. I don't know if it was the scheme or if it was Stewsville. I don't know, but we'll see this year. The things they don't like about Deesh, the scouts say his arms are very short for a tackle, and he got to get much stronger. They didn't like his tape against Oregon State. He got beat a lot. He got mugged up a lot on that tape, so that dropped his stock a lot. That's why he didn't get drafted. Then we have O-lineman Blaze Andrews. He's from Minnesota, played for the Golden Gophers, multiple different positions, 6'6", 308 pounds. As a redshirt freshman in 2018, he earned honorable mention, all Big Ten honors as a 13-game starter, 12 at right guard, and he played left tackle in the Quick Lane Bowl. And, you know, he was a third all-conference pick in both 2019, where he had 10 starts at left guard, 2 at right tackle, 1 at left tackle. And then 2020, he had 6 starts at right tackle and 1 at left. So he can play all over the line. I think his power allows him to play in the interior, and his size, being 6'6", allows him to play on the exterior. So we'll see how he does in camp. He's going to have to beat out Adam Pankey and Keon Smith to try to make this team, on the practice squad. And if he want to start, he's going to have to beat out Robert Hunt and Greg Little and some of these other players that we have added last year. I do like the addition of undrafted free agent center Ty Clary from Arkansas. I think he can compete in camp with Dieter for the starting job. At least I hope he can. Hopefully he can beat out Dieter. I really thought center would have been addressed in the draft. We could have selected center Alec Lindstrom or Fortner, who got selected by the Jags. If we really wanted to trade up for Fortner, I think we could have got him if we really wanted him. But we added Clary, so I want to see some competition in camp from Clary and to try to push Dieter and maybe beat him out for that spot. Let's look at the defense. I want a Miami Grand Prix on defense. I want us to be swarming to the football, getting sacks just like we've done under Flores, with Josh Boyer being in charge. Again, we should be able to replicate the same production we've had and be a terror for teams in the AFC. We're going to need to, because there's going to be a lot of competition in this conference. It's going to be a hard road to climb this year, man, because we got a lot of mobile quarterbacks to deal with. We got a lot of talent that we're going to have to deal with. So we're going to need all the help we can get. Senior defensive assistant Ryan Slowick is going to be in charge of helping Josh Boyer design these schemes and have this amoeba defense and this deep sea defense on guard, on attack at all times. You look at this D-line, I think we pretty much the same starters that we had last year, except I want to see, I really want to see some better play out of our defensive tackles. I like John Jenkins, the fact that we brought him back, but I'm hoping that some of our younger players that we added can beat him out. Undrafted free agent defensive lineman Ben Steele, who played for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, 6'5", 290, started all 12 games in his final seasons, ending his career with 20 consecutive starts and he recorded a career-high 42 tackles and 6 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks with 3 pass breakups. Was selected an honorable mention All Big Ten defender by the conference coaches and media, and he was also honored as first team All Big Ten selection by Pro Football Focus. I'm not sure why he didn't get drafted again. I think he could have at least made it. He could have got drafted in the 6th round, but he didn't get drafted. But I think I wanted us to get. I knew defensive tackle was a need. I wanted us to get Perrion Winfrey. We had a chance to get him. We didn't add him. But Ben Still, hopefully he can show up and make some noise in camp. We also added defensive tackle Jordan Williams as an undrafted free agent out of Virginia Tech, 6'5", 285 pounds. The strengths about him was praised for his maturity and intelligence by the coaching staff. Gets into his blocks with desired leverage and pop, and attacks down blocks and holds his ground, creates good rush opportunity with push-pull moves. The things they don't like about him is he could be a little late getting off the ball, so he got to be able to get off the ball a lot faster. Hopefully our coaches can coach that out of him. And let's look at the linebackers. We got linebackers coach Anthony Campanile, assistant linebackers coach Steve Ferentz, and outside linebackers coach Ty McKenzie this year. They're going to be in charge of getting this linebacking core on point for the season. And again, it's going to be pretty much the same game. Andrew Van Ginkel at left linebacker, middle linebacker Jerome Baker, Channing Tindall, I hope wins the starting job over Landon Roberts, and Jalen Phillips at that right linebacker spot. I don't mind if Landon Roberts is the middle linebacker again this year, but I do want Channing Tindall to win that job. We drafted him with the 3rd pick. He should be able to win that job, so we'll see about that. As far as our backups, Duke Riley we still got on the squad. Calvin Munson we got on the squad. Sam McGovern I think is going to be on the team and be in the rotation and be in our blitz packages again on stunts and twists, getting sacks on the quarterback just like how he did last year. I think we need to even give him a contract and keep him on the team. But our undrafted free agent that we added was DeAndre Johnson, 6'3", 253 pounds. And we also got Cameron Good, who he's going to have to show that he can make this team as well. But DeAndre Johnson, he's a first-year Hurricane after transferring from Tennessee, working his way into the starting lineup early in the season. He's played with Jalen Phillips. He just got to learn from Jalen Phillips in camp and try to do some of the same things so he can get in the rotation. When we look at our cornerbacks coach, passing game specialist Sam Madison, and assistant defensive backs coach Matthew Orajo and Patrick Surtain. They're going to have a good group to work with. Hopefully they can get something out of Trill Williams, who we added last year. And undrafted free agent we added was cornerback Kader Kohu out of Texas A&M Commerce. For the Lions, he was considered a shutdown cornerback, was named 2021 Lone Star Conference Defensive Back of the Year, also earning first team all-conference honors. He might be another Nick Needham type player that Chris Greer was able to find, so we'll see if he can compete with cornerback Quincy Wilson and Elijah Campbell and Justin Coleman. You know what I'm saying? If he's going to make this roster. But the one DB that I'm really excited about that we added as an undrafted free agent was Verone McKinley III out of Oregon. 5'11", 194 pounds. I think he might have slid and didn't get drafted because of his size, but he played with Javon Holland last year at Oregon. The year before last year at Oregon. We brought in DB Zion Gilbert for a visit, so you knew Chris was looking to find a safety that we could groom to possibly take Eric Rowe's spot, who's 29 years old. And, you know, he's probably going to be out the door maybe in the next couple of years, if not after this year. But McKinley, one of the 10 consensus All-Americans in program history for Oregon, earning 5 first-team All-American honors and a pair of second-team recognitions one of 3 finalists for the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award given to the nation's best DB. And he was first team All Pac-12 honoree by the league's coaches and the Associated Press. So if he can replicate some of the same tenacity that we saw from Javon Holland, man, that'd be great for this team. We also added DB, undrafted free agent Elijah Hamilton from Louisiana Tech, 6'2", 208 pounds. He played corner at Louisiana Tech, but I think he can compete for safety on this team. And then for the special teams, we still got Danny Crossman as the special teams coach, retained from the Flores regime. I think Braylon Sanders, like I said, from Ole Miss, could possibly make this team as a special teamer, kick returner. We need a dedicated kick returner. I mean, obviously, I would love to have Formula One racers, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle back there returning kicks, but shit, we need them on offense, catching bombs and shit like that. So we gonna use them there too, but if we could have a dedicated one, that'd be good. And we added a punter as an undrafted free agent, Tommy Heatherly out of FIU. And I know a lot of NFL fans thought it was crazy that 2 punters got selected this draft, but punters help the defense. Some have athletic ability to create turnovers in the kicking game. I think of Pat McAfee, who got his own show right now. He played, he laid out some kick returners, when he was out there. Not only knew how to drop the nose of the football and coffin corner kicks, but he was great with onside kicks. Even though we signed Morstead in free agency, I think maybe Heatherly can possibly compete with him and win the job. And maybe assistant special teams coach Brendan Farrell can get the most out of these guys. So that's my breakdown of the 53-man roster post-draft. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know which players y'all think should make this team. Let me know what y'all think about the draft, about Sony Michel, and if you think that was a good pickup for us. We got a lot to talk about heading into preseason, heading into camp. It's going to be a lot of competition. I can't wait, man. This is a new team, new squad. Y'all make sure and get behind the squad, get behind the network. Till next time, signing off, TBFN. Fins up.